Hi and welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to go through the process of flipping cars as a detailer. So that is taking a car that you bought relatively cheaply, it's been stored or stood for a long time, it's unloved, it looks untidy, it's possibly unsellable in its present state, but using detail techniques we're going to bring that car back to its best and then obviously sell it for a profit. So we're going to use this car behind me, which is a Toyota Corolla 2005, as an example of what can be done. So I know a number of detailers that search for these types of cars, so they are basically mechanically sound, but for whatever reason the families don't use them anymore, they've been sat on the driveway for months and months, and as that time progresses the cars aesthetically just become worse and worse and obviously lose their value. So they buy these cars cheaply, use all of their detailing techniques to bring it back to its best, and then obviously sell for a profit. And the detailers that I know that do this, they make quite a decent living just from doing this alone, let alone doing their detailing job on a daily basis. So we'll first of all have a look around the car, see what needs doing. Obviously this is we're looking at flipping this car, so we're not going to go into too much detail on any one job, but just bring it back to a presentable condition. Have a look at the car first and then we'll go through the different processes to bring it back. So the car, generally dirty. The paintwork has gone quite dull, so that will need bringing back to its best. Wheels, not too bad. Headlights are fogged. Doesn't look too bad through the camera lens, but they are quite bad, so they'll actually need wet sanding and compounding rather than just a compound and polish. Moving down the car, just usual contamination from a vehicle that's been stood for a long time. Number of scrapes on the vehicle, most of which are paint jobs, so we won't be tackling them, but I will be looking to try and reduce the effect of those scrapes. Generally though, not too bad on the outside. So the process here is we'll give it a full clean, chemical decontamination, and then look to try and restore that paint. We won't bother with a clay bar, we'll be looking at maybe a machine polish, depending on how bad the paint is. We won't know until we've actually cleaned the vehicle first, but nothing too drastic on the outside. On the inside, again, nothing too bad, just generally untidy. A few stains on the seat, which we'll have a look at. There is a strong smoke odour in this vehicle, so we're going to have to do something about that. Looks quite a decent car though. Nothing on the trim appears to be missing or badly marked. So just a general detail on the inside. Same goes for the back, just that smoke odour, which obviously you can't smell on the video, but I'll have to deal with that. Generally in relatively good condition. So normally on vehicles I would use pH neutral or pH balanced snow foam and shampoo, but because this vehicle is very dirty, it's had bird droppings on the vehicle for quite a number of weeks or maybe even months, I'm going to be using a higher pH level snow foam to try and get some of that off. So I've pre-soaked the vehicle, power washed the vehicle first. Going to be using a pH 10 snow foam application, and that should get rid of a lot of that contamination first. So we've had to give this vehicle 2 washes because it was so dirty, but that's now given us a clearer picture of the condition of the car. The paintwork isn't as bad as I thought it was, so there's no overall paint correction to do. So what I'm going to do with the paintwork is, first of all, I'm going to apply a polymer sealant using a snow foam cannon, and then we're going to apply a drying aid, and that should really bring out the colour and the gloss of the paintwork. The headlights are not as bad as I thought they were, so there's no wet sanding to do. It's just going to be a compound, then a final polish, and we're going to ceramic coat over the top of that. So the compound I'm going to use is Menzerna 2400 and then a Menzerna 3500 polish to finish that off. Okay, so with the vehicle still wet after that wash, we're going to apply the polymer sealant, keeping the polymer sealant away from the windscreen as much as we possibly can. So the polymer sealant has been sat on there now for a couple of minutes. We're going to power wash that off. So I'm now going to put a drying aid over the top of that polymer sealant, so that will add significantly to the gloss effect of the polymer sealant, give it a really nice shine. So now I'm going to power wash off the excess drying aid, dry with a microfiber towel, and then we're on to paint correction wherever it's needed. So the car's already looking in good shape. So we're going to be carrying out some paint correction on certain areas. So the headlights. Down here we've got some staining, which I think will only come out with correction. Paint's transfer on there, and 1 or 2 other scratches. Obviously the stuff that requires paint we're not even going to touch. So what I'm going to use is Menzerna 2400 medium cut polish, Milwaukee M12 BPS polisher stroke sander, and a medium density 3-inch pad. So regarding the headlights, I would normally tape off the area around the headlight to protect the bodywork, but these headlights are quite proud of the bodywork itself. Also I'm using a 3-inch pad, so it's a lot more accurate, and we're only going to be giving these a light correction anyway. So it's a Menzerna 2400. So we're now swapping over to a polishing pad and Menzerna 3500 super finish. Quick IPA wipe down. And then a ceramic coat over the top. that's the difference between the headlight that's been corrected and the one that hasn't. So next step is just to tidy up these areas I pointed out earlier. I'm going to be using Manzurna 2400 with the Milwaukee and a medium density pad. No need to go over these with a finishing polish. The 2400 will be more than enough. I've already checked the bodywork areas with the paint thickness gauge, so there's plenty of paint to do some minor correction. That's that done. So that's the outside of the vehicle completed. The only other things I've done after the paint correction is to add tyre shine to the tyres and clean the windows with window cleaner. So the interior is just a basic valet, full valet on the interior, no point in filming that. It's just basic stuff, but I will film the finished results once all of the vehicles has been completed. Right, so the car's done. Bodywork looks a lot better. It's not perfect, there's still a few scrapes obviously, but that's paint. Can't do anything about that. Interior, take my word for it, smells a lot better. There's a hell of a lot of nicotine staining around the vehicle, especially the roof lining. So it's taken a little bit longer than expected, but looks nice and tidy inside. Same in the back. I think the previous owner had a pet, a dog of some sort. So there's a lot of staining on the seats. That's all gone. And again, looks a lot more presentable now.